Hello friends, today we will be discussing about OIDAR services, that is Online Information Database Access Retrieval Services. The provisions of this OIDAR services are given in section 14 of the IGST Act. First, let us discuss what exactly are these OIDAR services. Section 14 of the IGST Act says all those services which are mediated through information technology on internet or electronic network, and these services are more automated in nature. They involve minimum human intervention, and providing these services will become almost impossible in the absence of information technology. Now, having understood about the OIDAR service, let's see what all services are included in this category. The OIDAR services include the following. First, advertising on internet. Let us take, we have a Facebook page, we want to promote that page, or we want to promote some products through that page. We can take the help of Facebook ads. In the same manner, we have Google ads, we have YouTube ads. All this advertising which is done on Facebook, Google or YouTube, they come under the category OIDAR services. The next example is providing cloud services. Cloud services involve providing a digital space for storage or backend solutions, etc. For example, we have a company, Amazon Web Service, AWS. It provides cloud consulting services. Just like that, we have Microsoft Azure. The next service is provision of ebooks, music, software or other intangibles through electronic medium. For example, take Kindle. You make payment online and you purchase a book where you read the book online. Or when it comes to software, let us take, there is a software company, Adobe, and we have made an online payment and we are getting all softwares online, electronically. This is also an OIDAR service. These OIDAR services also cover providing data or information electronically over a computer network. Let's say I got a client for whom I have to prepare a transfer pricing report or the TP report. And in order to give him the TP report, I have to determine the arm's length price. And to determine the arm's length price, I require the data relating to comparable companies or comparable uncontrolled transactions. And for the purpose of getting data, I subscribed to a website called Capitaline Plus, where I make the payment online, I get a user ID and password, and once I log in, I can get the data relating to comparable companies which will help me in my transfer pricing documentation. This is also an example of OIDAR service. In addition to this, providing online supplies of digital content, that is movies, web series, TV serials, etc. That is also an OIDAR service. For example, we have Amazon Prime Video, Netflix, Hotstar, where we make subscription to those apps, and in return you can watch movies, you can watch videos, you can watch web series, etc. online. In addition to this, we are going to talk about online gaming. If you look at Valve's Steam app, They provide online gaming services. Not only that, you have got an app by name GOG. They provide online gaming services. Any person can subscribe and they can make payment regarding an online game, and they can play the game online electronically. These are the various examples of OIDAR services. Mere presence of an electronic medium will not make the transaction or service an OIDAR service. Let us discuss certain services which are not treated as OIDAR service. First one, supply of goods where orders are placed electronically. We have Amazon app, Flipkart, where we place the order electronically but we get physical delivery of the goods. This is not an OIDAR service. Second one, supply of physical copies of books, journals, magazines, etc. Let us take a student wishes to purchase my GST textbook. So he places an order on my website and I give him the physical delivery of the book. This is not an OIDAR service. Further, services provided by lawyers, consultants, etc., where the advice is given in a memo, is not OIDAR service. Further, if we make an online booking of a ticket, for example, we have Book My Show. I book a ticket online, I go to the theater, watch a movie. Or I book a cab on various apps like Ola, Uber, etc. Or I book a hotel room through an online website. All these transactions or services, they do not fall under the category OIDAR. In addition to this, let us discuss some more examples. Offline repairs of computer equipment or advertising in newspapers, magazines, journals or television, all these do not come under the category of OIDAR services. Now let us discuss about the levy of GST on OIDAR services. We will discuss this concept in 4 different scenarios. Scenario number 1. If the supplier is in India and the recipient also is in India. Let us take an example. Eros Entertainment has launched an app by name Eros Now, and so many Indian subscribers or Indian customers have made payment and they are watching movies or web series or various videos online. In this case, GST will be levied under forward charge mechanism, and it is Eros Now which will make the payment to the government. Scenario number 2. Here, the supplier is outside India, but the recipient is in India. In scenario number 2, we are going to discuss 2 different situations. Situation number 1. If the recipient who is in India is a registered person. Let us take an example. We have Amazon Web Service in United States. They provide cloud consulting services, and this Indian company has made a consideration, has made payment to Amazon Web Service and availing the cloud services. In this case, the tax will be paid under reverse charge mechanism. That is, the Indian company which is registered under the GST law and availing the services will have to pay the GST to the government. And in situation number 2, let us take the recipient is non-taxable person or not a registered person. For example, there is a college student in Hyderabad. He loves gaming, online gaming. He subscribes to an app called Steam. where you have got so many online games to play. He makes payment for a few games and he enjoys the online gaming. In this case, the tax will be paid under forward charge mechanism, and it is the company called Valve which has developed this Steam app. They have to pay the GST to the government. Having understood first two scenarios, now we will move on to the third scenario. Here, the supplier is located in India, but the recipient is located outside India. Let us take an example. Mr. Ajay, who is a non-resident Indian, he settled in California, United States, has subscribed to an app called Sony Live, and he watches serials, videos, movies, sports, etc. Here, the supplier is in India, but the recipient is outside India. It is purely an export of service which is not subject to GST. Now, let us discuss the last scenario or the fourth scenario. Here, the supplier is outside India and the recipient also is outside India. For example, you have Amazon Prime Video and there are so many subscribers in United States who are watching movies, web series, etc. Here, the supplier is outside India and the recipient also is outside India. In such case, this transaction is completely outside the scope or ambit of our GST law, hence it is not taxable. Having understood about the levy of GST, now we will discuss about the place of supply in case of OIDAR services. We all know that the provisions relating to place of supply are given in IGST Act, and with respect to services, section 12 and section 13 tell us about the place of supply. Section 12 deals with a situation where the supplier and the recipient both are located in India. However, in entire section 12, nowhere they talk about OIDAR service. So, we have to look at section 12 subsection 2, that is the residuary section. And as per section 12 subsection 2, in case of OIDAR service, the place of supply depends on the nature of the transaction, whether it is B2B supply or whether it is B2C supply, that is business to business or business to consumer. If it is a B2B transaction, we are providing the service to a registered person. In such case, POS shall be the location of the recipient. In case it is B2C, POS shall be location of the recipient as per the records, but if the location of the recipient is not available, we will take the location of the supplier. Now, section 13 deals with a situation where either the supplier or the recipient is outside India. And in section 13, subsection 12 exclusively deals with OIDAR service. And as per that section, place of supply shall be the location of the recipient. Now a question arises, sir, all these OIDAR transactions or services take place in an electronic medium, that is in cyberspace. How to identify the location of the recipient in such cases? For this purpose, section 13 subsection 12 says, out of the 7 conditions given below, if you satisfy any of the 2 conditions which are non-contradictory to each other, then we can say that location of the recipient is in the taxable territory, that is India. Sir, what are those 7 conditions we have to look at? Number 1, the living address of the recipient is in India. Number 2, the billing address of the recipient is in India. Or number 3, the IP address of the device used by the recipient is in India. IP address, Internet Protocol. Or point number 4, the credit card, debit card or the smart card used by the recipient for making the payment was issued in India. Or point number 5, if the payment was made through an account of a bank which is located in India, or the country code of the subscriber identity module, that is very simply SIM card, of the recipient is of India. That is, point number 6 talks about the country code of the SIM card. That means in India the country code is +91. So the SIM card must be issued in India. Or finally, point number 7 says, if the service is through a fixed landline service, in such case the landline must be located in India. Out of these 7 conditions, if you satisfy any of the 2 conditions which are non-contradictory to each other, we say the location of recipient is in the taxable territory, that is India. Having understood about place of supply in case of OIDR services, now let us talk about the registration requirements in case of OIDAR services. Do you remember when we have covered the chapter registration, we had a section 24 which deals with compulsory registration. Clause number 11 of section 24 says that every person who provides OIDR services from a place outside India to a person situated in India and that recipient is not registered in India, in such case the supplier should get compulsorily registered. Why did the government specify that these suppliers should get compulsorily registered? Just correlate this point with the topic levy of GST in case of OIDR services. We have discussed that when the supplier is outside India and the recipient of OIDR services is in India and the recipient is not a registered person, the tax shall be payable under forward charge mechanism by the supplier. Therefore, this supplier should compulsorily get registered. Now a question arises, sir, the OIDR service provider who is situated outside India, he may be providing services to so many customers in India. Let us take, he provides service to Mr. A in Hyderabad, he also provides service to another person, Mr. B of Delhi, and he also provides services to another person, Mr. C of Kolkata. Sir, when each and every time the service is provided, the OIDR service provider, should he get himself registered? The answer is no. For them, that is the OIDR service providers who are situated outside India, government has notified a simplified registration scheme. And as per this scheme, this OIDR service provider who is located outside India should get registered only once. He should file a form GST Reg 10 and this form should be submitted to the Principal Commissioner of Central Tax, Bengaluru West. Now a question arises, sir, what about those OIDR service providers who are situated in India? For them, this simplified registration scheme will not apply. General rules of registration continue to apply. Having discussed about the registration requirements in case of OIDR services, now let us discuss about the returns that need to be filed. Here, we will discuss 2 points. Point number 1, in case of a person who is located outside India and providing OIDR services to a person located in India and the recipient is not registered under the GST law. In this case, the supplier needs to file a return in form GSTR 5A. This is a monthly return and it has to be filed by 20th of the succeeding month. Point number 2, in case of every other OIDR service provider, the general returns, that is GSTR 1, GSTR 2 and 3, presently it is GSTR 1 and 3B, continue to apply.